It's Wednesday, so this morning we are joined by Dr. Chandler James, our assistant professor of political science at the University of Oregon, helping us to put a little perspective to all the national politics going on across the country. First of all, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Hey, thanks for joining us. So we are in the midst of a change of administration. We're seeing some evidence of the last things the Biden administrations are going to do and the posturing happening by the Trump administration. Let's focus on the latter, or the former first. The Biden administration just recently issued an executive action that limits or can't stop all of new permits for oil drilling on the coastal waters, including a whole ton of water off the coast of Oregon. Is this something that has an immediate impact here, or do we have some space for permitting still to exist at this point?
So the U.S. is the world's largest producer of oil, and the Biden executive order would limit exploration on like 625 million acres of coastal land, and from my understanding, that is unlikely to significantly affect the market price of oil, in part because we actually import a lot of the oil that we use, and a lot of the leases that are available are unused. So in many respects, this is unlikely to significantly change the market dynamics of oil, and will, in some sense, at least according to proponents of this executive order, protect environmental land and some industries such as fishing in places such as here in Oregon.
Absolutely. Now, we are about to change to an administration that speaks about, Trump's been on the campaign trail saying, drill, baby, drill, things along those lines. What would have to happen for him to reverse this executive action once his administration does take office?
So executive orders are usually really amenable to change upon changing in the administration. However, this particular executive order would likely be much more difficult to unwind than the typical executive order.
Why is that?
It's due to the nature of the law that Biden is invoking to undertake this action. And so if Trump wants to wind back Biden's action, he'll probably have to go through the courts.
Okay. And let's slide on to the next topic. It's not just are these two administrations preparing for this exchange of power. Corporate America is starting to take note as well. We've seen in the past couple of days, I remember just yesterday, before 5 o'clock, I got two alerts on my phone. One, McDonald's rolling back DEI initiatives. Meta reversing its kind of change that it took since the pandemic, where they have these fact-checking organizations and making it more of like a community note style like Twitter or X has taken on over the past couple of years. Seeing this kind of change in posture from corporate America, how common is that as the next administration comes in?
So partly this just makes sense, right? So businesses ultimately are responsible to their shareholders and the profit incentive. And so it's really good to be on good terms with the President of the United States and the executive branch. However, some of this is particular, I believe, to the Trump administration. So here recently, we saw Trump settle with ABC with respect to a defamation suit, and Disney settled. I think a lot of people are really concerned about potential backlash from Trump. Trump is someone who is, as a president, who is willing to go after perceived enemies, and so many people are concerned. Now, another point here is that Trump won a second term, and so many people are maybe adjusting to what they believe to be changes in the political environment, that America is rejecting some of these things that were once popular, such as DEI. Now, there are some companies, such as Costco, who have maintained their stance on DEI, but I think that with respect to DEI, many companies are trying to wind back this issue, in part because of the Supreme Court ruling, but also because of Trump's dissatisfaction with this particular initiative.
Do you think that, like you mentioned, that since the President-elect Trump has a tendency to, like you said, go after perceived enemies, do you think that maybe incentivizes corporate America to respond to his threats more rapidly and get set for his incoming administration with
Right.
more jest? Yeah.
Right. So I think that they're playing a strategic game here. One, they're maybe concerned about potential backlash from the executive branch, but also I think that many of these executives think that they can work with Trump by flattery, in some sense, right? By getting on his good side and taking these very public moves, including donating to his inaugural fund. So Trump has raised a record-breaking amount for his inaugural fund from people like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, who were once critics. And I think that they're trying to make sure that they have a viable business path to make money. And knowing that Elon Musk is someone who is really close to the president and is actually a competitor with them in their particular industries, it's important for them, I believe, to try to obviate against the potential of being put outside the mainstream or at least political environment.
Corporate America concerned with the bottom line. Breaking news here on NBC 16 today.
Right.
You mentioned him, Elon Musk. He's part of the Department of Government Efficiency now, this advisory board put together by incoming President Trump and alongside with Vivek Ramaswamy. This DOGE, as it's called, this advisory board, what do you think that their role will be in this Trump administration as things kick off here in a couple weeks?
So DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency, is an effort to reduce the federal bureaucracy, reduce the federal deficit, and reduce federal regulations. This is actually something that many administrations have tried to do over the course of American history. It's really difficult, though. Number one, from their position as an advisory board. So they're not an official government agency. And without congressional approval, they won't have a lot of actual power. But Elon Musk, as a close associate of Trump, is going to have a lot of influence. And he has $400 billion to kind of use to leverage his position.
So it's a unique program where time will tell exactly how much impact it will have.
Well, I think that he has a lot of experience in cost cutting. So when he bought X, he cut 80% of the workforce. And it's Twitter, although there were some issues, ultimately it maintained. Because
I'm sorry, I'm getting told I got to cut you off. I apologize. We're running out of time here. We will continue this conversation next week when we bring you back in every Wednesday morning here for the foreseeable future. Dr. James, thank you so much for coming in this